Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Wes Davies here. Welcome back to another video. This one is going to be a little bit shorter probably than my usual videos, but I just wanted to tell you guys about this very fascinating, interesting movie that I just watched called Unsilenced. It's a 2001 film directed by a gentleman named Leon Lee, and there's a lot to unpack with this movie, and even more than the movie itself and the content of the movie itself, I also really like the story surrounding even just the creation of the movie and the existence of the movie itself, and let me just dive into that a little bit here. So the movie takes place, I think, around the turn of the century, around 2001 in Beijing, China. And there's a new religion, a new movement, partially based on Buddhism, called Falun Gong. And basically it was developed in the early 1990s, and within a decade it had tens of millions of followers all throughout China. And of course, the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, were watching this very closely, watching this movement, until it became quite obvious that suddenly this new religion actually had more followers than the CCP party itself. So the Chinese government really obviously objected to that, and they started to make actions to shut it down completely, you know, ban the religion. Anybody who was caught practicing it would be arrested or worse. And so that's kind of what this movie is about these university students who get kind of caught up in all this turmoil in China in 2001. So as I was watching the movie, I was thinking, I mean, you can see them, they're at the Beijing University, everything looks like it's in China for the most part, and I'm thinking there is absolutely no way that the CCP would allow a bunch of filmmakers to go in and film a movie like this in this climate, in this day and age, knowing what we know about China and the CCP. As the movie progresses, it becomes quite clear that we're seeing the atrocities that the CCP had committed with regards to this Falun Gong issue. And, you know, the Chinese Communist Party were obviously the bad guys. They were always seen in these dark rooms, you know, smoking cigarettes and just generally treating people horribly. Even the police are just indiscriminately beating people, arresting people. So I think on one hand, that's probably one reason you should see the movie, just so you understand a little bit about what happened during that time period in China, because I think it is important to be aware of these issues. The movie focuses a lot on freedom of speech, you know, freedom of expression, the right to protest and the right to organize, freedom of religion. So I think those are a lot of the important themes of this movie. But back to what I was saying before is I was thinking there's no way that this was filmed in China, but it looks like China. And then suddenly a train rolls by in the background and I see the Taiwan Rail Administration logo on it. So that was my first clue. Wait a second, I think this is actually filmed in Taiwan. And certainly a lot of the scenes, it kind of looked like Taipei a little bit. I think some of the scenes really reminded me of Geelong, that area, the northeast of Taiwan. But I didn't want to look it up yet until I'd finished the movie because I didn't want to interrupt the viewing experience. And then I finally did. And I researched the director, I researched the production, where everything was filmed and how this movie was made. And basically, Leon Lee is a Chinese-born filmmaker, but he actually moved to Canada, interestingly enough. So he is from Vancouver, and I read that all the interior scenes of the film were filmed in Vancouver. So whenever they're in somebody's apartment or inside the school, chances are that was filmed in Vancouver. And then all the external scenes, you know, the parts that look like China, are actually filmed in Taiwan. So I just thought that was really fascinating because the production of the movie almost mirrors what the movie is about, if that makes sense. Like, for example, this Falun Gong religion was banned in China, and then there were a bunch of students and protesters who were trying to fight against that and, you know, practice their religion freely. So in a way, this movie, Unsilenced, is a little bit like that exact same situation. It takes place in China, but because of the CCP party, it wasn't able to be filmed in China. And I'm sure the CCP would not necessarily be thrilled that this movie even exists at all, you know, pointing all these fingers at, again, some of the human rights violations that occurred 20 years ago in China. So I think the movie itself is kind of a testament to freedom of speech and, you know, freedom of demonstration, freedom to create these works of art or educational pieces. So yeah, it was just so interesting that this movie itself wasn't even able to be filmed in China. So thank goodness we live here in Taiwan. You know, it's important that these pieces of artwork get made, and it's so nice that the Taiwanese people were able to accommodate Leon Lee, the filmmaker. That being said, I noticed in the end credits, a lot of the names were anonymous. It just said, you know, Key Grip Anonymous. And then I read that a lot of the actors were using aliases, fake names, just because I suppose they're still even worried about some kind of retribution from the CCP. So there's just a lot of fascinating things about this film. And by the way, the film itself is actually very, very well done. Probably not for the faint of heart, I would say, as some of these important pieces tend to be. So just maybe don't watch it with your kids. But again, I do really think it is important to see films like this, even though the subject matter can be a little bit difficult. Yeah, that's my take on Unsilenced. Really, really well done, as I said. It's gonna be playing in theaters all around Taiwan, and I think it's important, you know, support the filmmakers here in Taiwan who helped make that movie happen, support the directors, the actors who are kind of brave enough to make a movie like this. You're also going to learn a lot. Check it out in the theaters. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you've seen the movie and what you think, and how soon did you realize that it was actually filmed in Taiwan. Filmed in Taiwan and filmed in Vancouver. That's exactly what I am, right? I live in Taiwan and I was born near Vancouver. Go check out the movie. Let me know down in the comments what you think. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.
Alright, so if you guys are at the theater, you see this poster, highly recommend you go check out this film. It was great.